I am Ino Eroraha with Net Security. Our ThreatResponder platform detects and prevents advanced cyber attacks in real time. I want to share this video with you to show how we detect and prevent phishing attack. In scenario 1, we'll look at a ransomware where a user receives an email with a link. The user clicks on the link, downloads a file, and attempts to execute the file. ThreatResponder determined that the file was malicious and as a result blocked the attack. In the second scenario, we'll look into a fileless or malwareless attack. Again, this is phishing. A user receives an email with a link. The user clicks on the link, downloads a file, and executes the file. The file invokes PowerShell and executed a PowerShell script download from the internet. This activity was determined to be malicious by ThreatResponder, and as a result, ThreatResponder neutralized the threat. So let's take a look at the threats under in ThreatResponder. The first scenario we'll look at is the file that was downloaded, which is the updated file. When you look at this, it has a threat score of 80, and this is information about the file. It gives me some information, some summary information about the threat, but I want to know more. So I am going to click on Detail. The details takes me to a different screen where I can get more contextual information about the threat. This is the endpoint in which the attack or the malware executed. This is the start time of the attack. This is the user that actually clicked on the email or the link. And through machine learning, we were able to detect the malware, we were able to detect that the executable was in fact behaving like a ransomware. So therefore, the process was terminated. Here you see the binary information, the hash information, and you see the metadata. There is some metadata information in terms of company name, product name, and so on and so forth that you typically would get in a commercial software. When you go down to the process, you see details. You see virus total detection. This tells me that there were 59 out of 67 antivirus engines detected this file to be a ransomware or malicious software. Okay. If you go down to the timeline of activities, you see different activities of the malicious file. There were no child processes. There were 0 devices, 3 files creation or modification or file-related activity. There was no network connection, and there was no registry connection. If you go down, you can actually see the different activities. A file modification failed for all of these 3 instances or 3 files. And this is typical of a ransomware, right? Excuse me. A ransomware will look for files in your system and attempt to encrypt them. On the process timeline, you can actually highlight this bubble here and be able to tell what happened at this point in time. So if you look through this graph here, there is no other activity other than these 3 files corresponding to what you have here. If we were to navigate here, we can actually expand this and maybe see other activities that occurred on the system. But this is the only thing we are interested in right now. In this next scenario, we'll take a look at the other phishing attack that we received, which was relating to PowerShell. And so this is the event in question. This is the endpoint. This is the indicator. This is the hash file. This is the reason why we determined that this is actually a threat. A PowerShell was trying to download and execute a malicious script, and this was the action taken. PowerShell exe was terminated. This is the time, and this is the threat score. So we'll double click on the file. We'll click on the event itself. Again, we'll get a summary information, summary of activities here. But summary is not sufficient, so we'll dive right into the details. When we look at the details, we'll see why this was. This is essentially details of activities that happen relating to this threat. We see that it's a PowerShell for sure, and we see that the PowerShell was invoked, and an attempt was made to download a file from the internet. If you see from this download object here, this is the user that click on the link, right? This is the user that was exploited. And again, the reason for why we deem this to be a malicious activity is the fact that PowerShell was downloading and trying to execute a malicious script from the internet. So it was actually blocked. If you look here, you see some metadata information saying that it was signed by Microsoft and with different things or different items. We also have binary details, the cryptographic hash of the file itself. These are yet some more metadata information saying that it's from Microsoft and it's in Windows PowerShell. As you can see, these are not necessarily a malicious indicator because after all, PowerShell is a well-known tool that was developed by Microsoft. Now again, if you come down here and you look at the details, more metadata information, and if you look at VirusTotal, there is no VirusTotal hit. So therefore, it is hard to if you were relying on signature-only detection, you would not notice any issue here. You see the process graph. A user received a phishing email. They click on the link. It spun off a browser, Chrome in this case. A file was downloaded called Flash Player, and upon execution, command shell was invoked, and through the command shell, PowerShell was issued, and instructing PowerShell to basically download this string here, download a PowerShell script from the internet. If you look at a timeline of activities here, you see that there were no children, there were 2 DNS entries or DNS resolution, there was 1 file creation, 38 modules, and 2 network connections, as you can see here. There weren't any registry activity. If you mouse over here and you take a look at this, these are the 38 modules. Here, you see all the different activities, all the creation corresponding to all of these activities here. Because there is quite a number of information, I'm not interested in looking at everything, so what I'll do is I'll select a module here. So in this case, I am going to select module, which are the DLL loads, and basically filter them off. So as you can see, these are the relevant transactions or activities that I'm interested in. Right? I want to see the DNS resolution. These are the 2 DNS resolutions. I want to see the file creation. This is a file created. And I want to see the network connections. These are the network connections. So this file was actually successfully downloaded, but it wasn't executed because this file was downloaded, but it wasn't actually executed. But I want to be able to share with you that ThreatResponder was able to block the attack from happening. Now, if you were to click on this, it expands into different processes, illustrating what actually happened on the endpoint. So, ThreatResponder was able to detect and prevent a malware-less attack or a fileless attack that relied on PowerShell attempts to download and execute a PowerShell script from the internet. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope that you understand now how ThreatResponder may be used to prevent and detect advanced attacks. Please call us if you have any question, or contact us if you wish to try the software out or have a proof of concept software that you can try out for a few days. Thank you very much for your time.